Ladies and gentlemen,
Boys and girls,
welcome to
the
the Executive
Executive
Youth
Youth
Club
Club.
with your chairman, me, Sam Fraser, and
Club Secretary Tom Hepworth. Now, the Executive Youth Club is a place for anyone between 40 and dead.
it's your weekly dose of Gen Ecstasy.
Whoop, whoop.
It's lovely to welcome to the show our very special guest this week, Chris Jarvis, presenter, broadcaster, writer. I was going to say Panto Queen then, but that's not right, is it? It's
Legend of the
Dame. The word is Dame.
Dame Chris Jarvis.
Chris Jarvis joins us.
That has a ring to it, actually.
Actually does.
Yeah.
In fact, it wasn't so long ago that I actually reported on the Panto Awards back in about 2019, and you'd had a great year with your Dick, hadn't you? That particular year.
Yes, yeah. I was very lucky to be because it was actually my 50th year. So it was shortly after my 50th birthday that I won Best Principal Boy, which was a bit bizarre given my age. But that just shows you how bonkers the world of Panto is, that everybody can be anything. You know, you can have men dressed up as women, women dressed up as men, but also, people playing all different ages and it's all a bit nondescript, but so that was really lovely. But the Panto Association, which is more recent, last 5 years, is now huge, the UK. And since that, I was invited to become a trustee, and so I'm involved behind the scenes, not with the awards really, but well at all, but with the actual association. And Panto's come a long way. It's made it exciting again because I think everybody in the business was thinking, oh, the same old thing. Oh, it's Jack and the Beanstalk this year or whatever. But now it's become not competitive, but collaborative. Everybody talks a bit more. All the Pantos together. When Sam came up to Wimbledon, Tom, which was where the awards were that year, but every year they're in a different theatre. Aylesbury, I think next year, I can't remember where it is, but it's a different theatre and it's supported by the industry. ATG, Trafalgar, all the big theatre companies are behind it, and it's changed Panto because everybody's talking and sharing ideas, and yeah, it's good. It's good.
How many Pantos have you been in, Chris?
Just over 30. I think this is my 32nd or something like that, but of
Wow.
professional. But I was also involved with amateur ones. But that's not to say some of the professional ones weren't amateur and some of the amateur ones weren't professional. Because if anyone's been to there are some brilliant drama groups now. I mean, I wasn't in the really big ones, but the Brentwood Operatic Society, places like that, near where we grew up, were brilliant. They're just
Oh,
brilliant
We
pantos.
should point out that Chris and I were at school together. It was we were at Brentwood School. I joined in the sixth form. Chris had been there for forever.
Yeah,
Um,
you
you
came
were
from Grange Hill. I was at Biker Grove, but it was yeah, we were friends years ago, and it was clear we shared the same sort of things, music and drama and comedy.
Yeah. In fact, you took me to the very first studios, professional studios that I'd ever been in, because Chris was really, this was all he ever wanted to do. And we went and we recorded a song. I think it was called You Close Your Eyes or something. It's something to do with
If only
closing
you
your
could close
eyes.
your ears as well. Was that Advision?
It was
Because
Advision off Oxford Street.
that's right. So, a friend of ours, Tom, called Andrew, got a job at a recording studio called Advision, just behind Oxford Street. Yeah, Oxford Circus, wasn't it? And it's where the Pet Shop Boys recorded, and Simon May. Do you remember Howard's Way, the theme tune
Yeah.
to
yeah.
Howard's Way, and EastEnders, the EastEnders theme tune? They were all recorded, I think, in the studio. Certainly, the Pet Shop Boys' Please album, the first album, and Disco. And Andrew worked on all these things and the soundtrack to Little Shop of Horrors. It was, apart from Abbey Road, it was one of the, and Trident, it was the one to go to. It was a brilliant location. And how wonderful, aged 15, 16, or however old we were, to be in the studio. We were there at the weekends, bank holidays, using, probably samples we shouldn't have been using, la la la, or whatever it was. And yeah, it was a real treat to
I seem
be.
to remember they also did the soundtracks for the Electric Blue soft porn films there as well. Do you not remember?
I don't remember that bit.
I remember just seeing the like women having pillow fights on the screen in the background.
Oh
I don't
my
think Chris was.
gosh.
You probably didn't pay attention to the women having the pillow fights
No,
in the
funnily enough, that
background.
escaped me.
Was
I
was
didn't go through that door.
was it a very big recording studio with sort of bedrooms and stuff, or what? I
No,
mean, what?
It was a huge studio. It's now, I think, called the Sound Gallery, and it's been divided up into little dubbing studios. There are loads and loads of studios, but at the time there were three big studios, and one of them was big enough to take an orchestra, and it had a timps room, a vocal. I mean, it was absolutely massive, and it was one of the first studios to have a thing called a synclavier, which was the first digital keyboard with all the gear. Nerd alert. But I mean, it was fantastic, and you could play all these different samples, and this was the age of 19, all that sampling business, and so it was really cutting edge. We were so lucky to have friends who worked in these amazing places. I mean, they were great playrooms.
so
Did you record a song then?
well, Chris was working on a song. I can't even remember if you wrote it or some other fellow wrote it. Was there a guy called Roland? No, 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 no,
Roland
no, no,
from
no.
Grange Hill.
I think it's something else. I can't even remember what we
I think
were.
that was the name of the piano.
Yes, possibly. Studios weren't the only place that Chris took me. He took me to nightclubs in Essex as well.
Oh yeah. Any ones in particular, famous ones?
What was the one in Basildon?
The one in Basildon was Raquel's, but the one in the middle of the high street in Basildon, up the steps in the shopping centre, was called Sweeney's, and
Oh, I
I
remember
think
that.
I'm pretty sure it was called Sweeney's, and that was interesting. But there was also Tots in
Yeah,
Southend,
Tots,
and my
legendary.
favourite was a nightclub called Pizzazz.
I don't remember Pizzazz.
Pizzazz was in Grays in Thurrock, but it was very low. I mean, you could almost touch the lights, It was like, I'm not sure it was legal, but it did shut down. But it was great. I thought it was great. It was a fantastic space, and it looked really swanky. It was
Shame
proper
about the
S.
fire regulations, but
Yeah,
hey.
yeah, that sort of thing. A few deaths, but apart from that. But the other big one in Romford was called Hollywood, and I
Oh
think it
gosh.
might still be there. It was huge. It was about the size of a B&Q. It's massive, like BCM in Magaluf, very similar sort of size. I
Chris, you're
sound
giving
like I know
away
what
a
I'm talking about. I
lot.
really don't.
You're giving away a lot about your youth. And of course, I think you're perfect for our show because you are still very much a young man at heart. And I'm just wondering, we always ask our guests whether they were in any clubs when they were young or even clubs now.
Yeah, I mean the Cubs. So I was in the Cubs, if that counts as a club, an
That
organization,
counts.
and that was fantastic. And I think I look back, and we never properly thanked those people who gave up their evenings. I mean, to give up your evening to look after a load of Herberts who would run riot in the hall. And also, I mean, I never said thank you to the people who did it, nor sorry to the poor fools, that I probably, sort of led a merry dance, when I was in it.
What was the
But I
worst thing you did, Chris?
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. I remember we went on a cub camp and we camped, goodness knows where, in these sort of army tents. And we were into midnight feasts. So we
Mm.
stayed up. And then we decided we'd do a midnight walk. We invented a midnight walk. So a few of us left the tent and went for a midnight walk. And I remember the Arcala or whoever, finding us just at his wit's end, because I mean, we could have gone in the lake or something. I mean, it was awful. And I really am thankful and apologetic at the same time for being a nuisance.
No such thing as safeguarding back then, you see.
No, and wasn't it great because you could climb trees and we did,
Yeah.
and we were, cooking things over open fire, with no
Oh, it was
proper.
fire
Yeah.
that was the best thing. It gave me
Yes,
my love of fire. Cubs did. I was a cub as well.
you
Cool.
Yeah,
were.
yeah, yeah. I've
Yeah.
always loved fire.
And you like chopping wood and all of that stuff. That's
Yeah,
very much
yeah, I love
your
that.
world.
Yeah, yeah. I also like the fact that all the leaders were named after Jungle Book characters as
Yes,
well. That was
yes,
great. I
yeah.
always like that.
Because the Jungle Book was still big when I was a kid. I was a
Mm.
child of the 70s. So the Jungle Book would be the equivalent to Pixar Toy Story now, or maybe a
Yeah,
bit even more Trolls or something. So, it was really current, wasn't it? Even
Yeah.
though it was by default, it wasn't
my
intended to
brother's
be
just
big, but
become a cub leader.
See,
Yeah, and I said, "Oh, what's your name? What, who are you? Are you Baloo? Are you?" And he was like, "Oh no, people just call me Will." And I said, "What? What? Why? Why?"
What's wrong
This,
with Bagheera?
yeah, yeah.
That's
But
that's
they've
such a
changed it just
shame.
recently. And I said, "You're right. It is a massive shame." I said, "Everybody's got to be named after a Jungle
Yeah.
Book character, surely."
And also puts a bit of distance between you and
Yeah.
your real. I mean, it's a bit of escapism. But so a club, any other clubs that you've
Yeah,
been thrown out of?
a few drama groups. There was a drama group at the church called Action, and we put on highly inappropriate Christmas shows and pantos. Looking back, some of the jokes and things. I mean, I would not go near them. They're so inappropriate, and it was in a church.
It,
That's the '70s for you, folks.
you
But
can't say that, Chris, without
Yeah,
sort of
digging up a joke.
spilling some
Oh,
tea
oh
here.
my God! I couldn't. You wouldn't even put it out on UK Gold with that sign at the beginning that says, this was of its time, and any content herein is of that time or whatever. No disclaimers here, but that was really good. There was another drama club at the Towngate Theatre. This was before the one that's there at the moment, which is really lovely. There was sort of, it was almost like a prefab, the theatre that existed in Basildon before, and I used to go to that, and it was really good. And once again, the people, Madeline Worrell was somebody who did a lot for drama in my area, and all these people who were working actors, who gave up their time. And I look back and think, gosh, those clubs were brilliant. There was a youth club at the church which was brilliant. I just hope they still exist.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I was always being thrown out of. I got thrown out of guides. My mum got us both thrown out of brownies. I've told this story before, so I've not been very compliant.
Oh,
Um,
what happened to get you thrown out?
oh, well,
Yeah,
for guides.
what happened
Yeah.
in Guides?
That was just an inappropriate, accidental thing. There was me and a girl called Georgia, sunbathing in our underwear. She just didn't like it, and I think it was the last straw. We were on guide camp. We were on guide camp, and I
Oh,
think
right.
we'd just done one thing after another, and in the end, she thought we were behaving inappropriately because there was a load of scouts in the field next door, and we shouldn't have been parading ourselves. It wasn't in the guide handbook,
Oh my gosh.
the man
Like
catching badge.
Yeah,
Um,
sounds
understand
like
that.
carry
Yeah.
on camping. But
it was
that
like
doesn't
that.
sound as bad. That
The,
doesn't sound as bad as our midnight walk and a midnight swim and a midnight thing. That sounds
I,
quite tame,
I
Sam.
think
I
that
think you were treated unfairly there.
I think I was treated unfairly, but I think she was thinking about consequences and probably you
God.
going for a walk. The worst thing that could have happened is you'd fall in and drown in a lake. I could have got pregnant.
Yeah,
I
come
didn't
up
want to
with the
be,
babe. Yeah,
it was that kind of era, wasn't it?
you can't
Um,
get a badge for that.
Well, now apparently you can.
I reckon there's a whole load of
It's all part of the
badges.
new homemaker badge. Yeah,
Literally.
true. Yeah,
There's probably one for sticking your own eyelashes on or something. I wish that. I mean, I can't. I'm really amazed at how the girls do all of that stuff, the makeup and eyelashes. I'm just rubbish. I'm rubbish now. Anyway.
it's
Because I
YouTube
think I was
tutorials.
talking to somebody on Blue Peter the other day, and that they've changed their badge system as well. Because remember, it was just one plain badge before, which was the white with the blue ship,
Yeah.
designed
Yeah,
by Tony Hart for 100 quid. But now they have all sorts of badges. It's really good actually. So they've tried to. Because with dwindling numbers, I guess, in scouting and guiding, there aren't enough people prepared to do it, probably. I don't know. I haven't seen the figures. I hope more people take it up because I think it's brilliant. But, for those people who can't join the Cubs and the Scouts or the Guides or the Brownies, there is this, more of a club with Blue Peter, especially because it's quite niche on its own channel now and everything, and it's really good actually. The presenters are excellent. It's such a good show, still going strong. There's a bit of a
Oh, I
club.
should have looked that up. I didn't realize it had its own channel.
no,
Well,
I
it's
didn't
on
know that.
CBBC. It's on CBBC, so
Oh,
it's
okay.
not. So it's own place. It's its own destination. Whereas I think when
Mm.
we were kids, it's like, well, that's all it is. You turn it on. It's that or ITV.
I always loved John Noakes. I always thought he was
Yeah.
brilliant. He's one of my broadcasting heroes. But Simon Groom at the time, I wasn't that bothered by him.
No, me
But
neither.
only in retrospect, seeing him being massively inappropriate on YouTube made me think, oh my God, he really did get away with an awful lot.
Did he? I
Well,
didn't.
he did this thing when York Minster burnt down, or part that had the big fire, and he had two great, door knockers, and two of them right in front of me said, "Look at this magnificent pair of knockers." It wasn't the only thing he did. He was
Yeah,
a bit of a one, apparently.
Oh,
there was
I'm going to go
lots.
to YouTube and
No,
check
no,
it out.
but Simon Groom has a mischievous streak to him, I would
Oh,
say.
he's
Yeah.
gone up in my
Mm.
estimation. Is he still with us? Is he still with us,
Yes.
Chris?
Yeah, he was on one of the BBC local radio stations for a long time.
He's from Derbyshire, so I'd imagine it
Yeah,
might
yeah,
be Derby.
absolutely. Probably
Mm,
up there. But I've
mm.
worked a lot over the years with Peter Duncan, who sort of took over that John Noakes mantra of being the daredevil. I mean, Duncan Dares, he was on there for a
Yeah.
long time, and he
He,
went back to it. But he mentions Simon a lot and says what a great guy he was. But yeah, Peter was very funny because he didn't care, did he? He just did what he was a bit of a loose cannon on the show in a really good way, and it kind of needs that. Television needs that, I think, live telly.
definitely. Has he
Like
still
when
got
you
the
two are
green and
on.
white checked suit?
That's right. Yeah, he had his own suit, didn't he? But you need someone with a twinkle, otherwise it doesn't work, I don't think.
Well, yes. I mean, I've I've lost a job before now because somebody actually said you've been taken in by the twinkle in her eye. I felt like saying you get near my twinkle and you'll know about it.
Mm.
But
But that's
yeah,
what life's all about, isn't it? I mean, Kenny Everett, was sacked by so many different organizations just for being brilliant and just daring to. I mean, sometimes a bit naughty. And nowadays, he'd probably get away. He would have got away with it in the 90s and the noughties. But yeah, now we've probably come full circle, and he would be taken off.
A little bit of subversion is no bad thing.
we like a bit of subversion. Chris, I'm going to ask you, because obviously we know that we're a little bit older. We are in executive youth, quite definitely. And I wonder if there's been any observations that you've made recently about that have confirmed that you're at this stage in life.
So the other day I was at the Christchurch Music Festival, which was brilliant. It's so well organised, and there were a few unexpected gaps in the show where artists hadn't quite got enough material. So I was DJing on the stage and just making stuff up with the crowd and looking out, I just thought, yeah, I've got this relationship with so many more people now. It's not just kids who watch CBeebies, there's all these different generations. And we were having quite a lot of fun, with different groups of people. And I think people, as you get older, they're more likely to talk to you anyway. I mean, I get
Yeah.
people just talking to me because, oh, I used to watch you on the telly or whatever. But like on the train the other day, this group of young people were talking to me about all sorts of things. I think you're less frightening when you're a bit older. Now I've got all
Yeah.
these lines and everything's a bit droopy. I'm less of a threat.
You've been very clever to grow your own audience.
Grow your own audience. I think you've got something there.
I had a moment. I did the Shaftesbury Fringe Festival recently with my son. We're doing a show. And boy, did that ever pull me up short. Because I think that Theo and I are the only mother and son comedy partnership on the UK circuit now. But it does mean, when you're standing next to your 26-year-old son,
Mm,
looking out at an audience that you used to be able to kid, you were still in your 40s. There's just,
Mm,
I can't lie
mm.
to them anymore.
Do you think that relationship that you've got with your son is so markedly different to the relationship perhaps you had with either or both of your parents? Could you ever have gone on stage with them, age
Chris,
26?
my son does a fantastic line, which I'm not going to say on the pod. It's very shocking and very awkward. And I actually did say one night, I've never been more grateful that both my parents are dead. I mean, I'm not grateful that my parents are dead, but there's just no way I could have let them be in the room to hear him say those things. And yet for me and for him, it's just so much fun. It's such a cracking line.
Yeah.
And it's a completely different world, a different relationship. And like you're right. I think maybe I don't know, maybe there are families that are still a bit more formal or you know, like, do you remember when I don't know if this was like this in your home, but if anybody started getting down to it on the TV, we got sent up to bed. You know, when we were 15, we'd go through the Radio Times at Christmas to see what shows were going to be on
Where there might
there
be
could be some
sex.
sex, and we didn't want to watch any of that.
We
You know,
just sat through it uncomfortably,
did
you
you
know. Well,
pretending it
I
wasn't
mean,
happening?
I obviously watched it, but it's awkward. Yeah, and I have that now with my kids. They just, if we're watching something, the rare occasion we're all looking at one screen at the same time, yeah,
Yeah.
it is awkward. You all like look away, and it's like being on the tube. It's that sort of shrinking of all peripheral vision. And the
Mm.
Your
concentration
laces.
to just your own personal space because you don't want to get any reaction from anybody else.
I've got to just share with you. This was happened when I was an adult and I was with my husband's family. We weren't married at this point. Do you know the artist Robert Mapplethorpe? Okay, gay artist, did a lot of gay photography and stuff. And there is, I can't even begin okay, it's an image of fisting, and it came up on a
Oh
Channel 4
my.
program. And I mean, I didn't know what
You were watching with your folks.
with my father-in-law.
Oh,
It
Oh
was
my gosh.
just, I don't know how I got through it. I was sweating. My cleavage was soaking.
blue roll.
Blue roll, and
That's the
yeah.
answer.
Chris, what did your parents make of your ambitions to perform?
I don't think they really got it to start with because they were both very clever people. My mum was a head teacher and my dad worked in education. He was a professor and ran a college which became a university. And I just think they must have thought, what is he doing? You know, this is lunacy. And well, of course it was. And how can you make a career of it? I think looking back, I mean, everything, they were incredibly loving and kind, generous parents who did everything for my brother and I. And it must have been awful, actually. If all you know is academia and, they weren't green, they knew the world. My mum, seen the world and my dad had seen a lot of it too. But, to see someone going into pantomimes, when you yourself are a professor and written books and lecture and sociology and goodness knows what, this is a bit nuts. But they went with it, and I think once they'd been to a few of the professional ones and realised I was going to be all right, I think they started to relax and they enjoy it, and they were so good. They used to come every year.
How many pantos are there?
Well,
Because
as many as people want to write.
No, but I know there's different versions of them, but it's the same. I mean, I did Panto for 7 years in Hull and in Grimsby
Oh,
when I
brilliant.
worked at the radio
Yeah.
station up there. We did like a
Mm,
charity one for children in need and things,
mm,
and I really, really enjoyed it. My Squire Nackweasel in Mother Goose was tip top. But I just wondered, there are a certain number, and then you go round and do them again. And I just
mm.
wondered, are any new Pantos being written? Any new actual stories, Chris? Do you,
Well, what's
yeah, but
yeah.
new stories that aren't based on ones that are already out there.
Well, what's quite exciting because of what's been going on since COVID and the association and everything, and greater conversation between all the different production companies. It's become more competitive. But what's great is people are being a little bit more dangerous or bolder, and they're looking at older books. So, like Newcastle Theatre were a really good panto up there, and they have now tackled Pinocchio, Goldilocks, all these other titles that haven't been touched for a long time, and they're starting to do it. I mean, the Palladium have been quite not dangerous, daring.
Mm.
I mean, I love it. It's not like the pantos we do. It's more of an adult panto.
Beowulf next, then, yeah.
Sorry.
Beowulf next.
Yeah, I think Superman would make a great panto because you've got the
Yeah.
villain, but it's getting the rights to use those stories.
I want to fly in on a wire
Yeah. Well,
and not do very much. Sing
but you
badly.
said to me you can't sing, and I
Well,
thought you could. I'm sure I've heard you sing.
no, I
Well,
was.
let's see.
My voice was trained, but has since returned to the wild. Um,
I think you can. I'm sure I heard you sing years ago.
you did, and I could.
I could teach you the song I'm learning now.
What are you learning?
I'm learning. It's a folk song. It's a French one, so it's really hard. It's Pique la baleine.
A what?
It's a Breton whaling song.
Wow.
It's really difficult. I know the
God.
chorus. It's Pique la baleine, jolie baleine, Pique la baleine, je veux naviguer, like that. But the words, because obviously I'm shit at French,
Mm.
the words are really, it's
I-
really difficult learning words anyway, but learning them in a completely different language is really hard.
Pique la
It-
baleine. I tell you what, shall we
Pique
put
means
it?
stab the whale.
Shall we?
And I wouldn't advocate the
Stabbing of any whales
any whales at all.
or any sea
But it is an
creatures.
historic song from, the 18th century.
Should we put it on the playlist? We've got an
Yeah.
Executive Youth Club playlist, Chris, where we put sort of, peculiar choices, like Tom's always coming up with these. And I think we should actually,
Okay.
at this point, thinking about.
Well, listen, we'll learn it, and you can sing it in your show with Chris.
We'll do it as a song sheet. Everybody now,
Yeah.
and put the words up on a big cloth.
Join in, everybody.
So, are you learning this with the choir or
No,
just on your?
No, on
Really?
my own. No,
Wow.
well, I do. Oh, I do some historical recreation stuff, and after we all stop being historical Tudor or medieval people, quite often we all like sit around campfires and have a few glasses of dishwasher vodka and sing songs. And
Oh,
I wanted,
marvellous.
and quite a few of the people know this, and I'd just like to learn it, but it's bloody hard.
Wow.
Do you know what? We're always looking for place names for Tom's dishwasher vodka. I'm actually thinking Basildon would be a great. Basildon's
I'll
a
tell you
great
what,
name.
not just Basildon
Yeah.
Bond.
Oh, yes.
Are you obviously being Essex people? Who was Basildon Bond?
I don't know whether it was ever.
Was it a
from
big factory
Basildon.
in Basildon where
No,
they made
because-
all the
Anything to do with Basildon?
where they
I
made
don't
the
think it
writing
was. Yeah, I think
Really?
it might have been another Basildon because there's Lower Basildon, isn't there? The
And Upper Basildon in Berkshire or somewhere.
that's right,
isn't it?
where there's a big stately home where they filmed Pride and Prejudice, I think,
Yeah.
or one of those big, sort of
Also, I
romantic.
feel like the two Ronnies had a Basildon Bond
Oh,
character.
that's right.
I
Yeah.
think they did.
Or was
But there
it
was-
was Ross Abbott, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know. You foxed me there.
I'm sorry to throw a metaphorical hand
Yes.
grenade into proceedings with Basildon Bond, but I just wondered if it was the main employer of people in Basildon.
No,
that's
definitely
all.
wasn't.
I think the main employers of Basildon were Yardley Cosmetics, Matchbox Factory, but there were loads.
Matchbox cars.
Yeah, I'm sure Matchbox cars
Oh.
were there. Might have dreamt that, but no, there were loads of businesses, and
Entrepreneurial.
yeah,
Our part of the
and
world.
I'm always impressed when I go back to like Harlow, Basildon, because they're new towns which have come into their own now. And you look up, and there's like Barbara Hepworth murals and things. It's really, incredible, and also getting around because it's a new town. The roads are fantastic, but they've built a new part. I don't know whether you've been, Sam, whether you've been back, but there's a new sort of area with restaurants. It's where the big hotel is, and it's called Bas Vegas.
Yes, my cousins told me about
Great.
it. And
It's
also
great, really
Basildon's
good.
getting a new link, isn't it, to straight
Yes.
into London. And it's gonna be the place to be in Essex.
Yeah.
Basildon is going up in the world.
It is. It's going places. Yeah.
We need to move on because it's time to put something into the Jumble Box.
It is indeed, yes. Have you got anything for us this week, Sam?
It's-
Or indeed, Chris, have you got anything for the Jumble Box?
Well, do you know, it's a bit messy here because I'm trying to sort out my record collection. I started looking at my vinyl, and so yeah, you can have anything from the 80s, 90s.
Pluck something at
noughties.
random now.
Do you want me to pick a random record? Hold on.
Yeah,
These are
yeah.
prescription.
Pick the eighth one from the right.
Eighth
Not
one
bloody
from the right.
countdown.
Hold on.
Can I have a vowel, please, Chris?
Oh, look, it's got a
Okay.
collection.
Yes.
What would you like?
Eighth one in. 2,
Eighth one.
3, 5, 6,
Miami Sound.
7, 8. That's it.
What is it? It's level 42.
It's level 42.
Lessons in Love.
God.
And on the B side, so
Panto.
this is from 1986, and on the B side there is a really brilliant version of Something About
Something
You.
About
It's
You.
an
There you go.
American mix of Something About You, which I used to play at the discos. Do you remember, Sam?
Yes.
And it's got a bit in the middle of it that goes, doo, doo. It's like the early bit of scratching. I used to
my
pretend
God.
I was doing it.
Level 40. We must see if we can find a link to that because
What?
I want to
The
know.
scratchy
I couldn't
song from
remember
level
the
42?
scratchy bit, Something About You.
Hey, it ain't Grandmaster Flash.
Level 42. And don't they live on the Isle of Wight?
Yes, they do live on the
Yes.
Isle of
Yeah.
Wight. Yeah, yeah, they
Yeah.
do.
I'm going to put in some music as well for the Jumble Box this week
Oh yeah.
because I've been watching an amazing series and I'm always late to the party. I don't know if you've seen this, Chris. Bad Sisters, Sharon
No.
Horgan's show. I think it's on Apple TV.
Mm.
It's five Irish sisters. It's dark and funny, and it's got the most amazing soundtrack. So the opening song is called Who by Fire. It's all about the millions of ways to die. It's originally by Leonard Cohen,
Yeah.
but it's covered by PJ Harvey. And it is so good. And all I can do is I've been singing it around the studio at work, and it's in my head, and I can't let it go. So, but the whole soundtrack for the show is brilliant. And if you haven't seen Bad Sisters, it's absolutely fab. Honestly, I can't recommend it highly enough. Sharon Horgan is. I think I've made her Executive Youth Club Member of the Week.
Speaking of Executive Youth Club Members of the Week, I've got my nomination.
Yeah, for this week.
And yeah, I have for this week. Yeah, I've not nominated one for a little bit, but Chris, I don't know if you know him, coming from the world of children's TV and things, but I'd like to nominate Chorlton the Happiness Dragon off of Chorlton and the Wheelies.
Oh yes.
He was.
Who the what?
He was
Let's go
kind of.
back a bit.
He is Cosgrove Hall production.
Yeah.
So he was a Lancastrian happiness dragon who spread joy and happiness wherever he went, little old lady.
Did he speak like that?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, right, greatly. He did. He was brilliant. I absolutely loved it as a kid, that program. And that was in the days when most children's television, I think, was made by geniuses who may or may not have also been using very powerful hallucinogens. But Chorlton and the Wheelies was absolutely brilliant. It was basically a world where everybody had little wheels, and the characters were really, really well formed. And Chorlton was a happiness dragon, so he was just generally a nice sort of bloke, and we did things like that and spoke like that. And his arch nemesis was Fenella, who was a Welsh witch who lived in a kettle with a German spell book and telescope, and she would like pop up out of the ground and go, wow, wow, what a wretched dragon. It was absolutely mental. It was brilliant.
I don't remember this at all.
Do you know Chorlton or Fenella?
Not as well as you do, but I do remember them being massive. And I went to Cosgrove Hall. I auditioned and didn't get the part for a few. I did a few animations in the 90s, but I didn't do one for them. But I did audition, and I went up there and I met the teams, and it was a huge place. And I saw them making some of the stop animation. It had about 4 or 5 scenes on the go at any one time, and these people painfully moving these little claymation models.
Is it named after a person, or is there an actual stately home where all of this happens called Cosgrove Hall?
I don't know. It's a very good question, isn't
But
it?
when you went there, did you notice, sort of a grand drive and
no
columns outside?
No, there was none of that. No, I don't think so.
What was it like?
It was a very modern building that had been adapted, over quite a while. So I was there in the 90s, but it had already been, it had grown when we were kids, watching Danger Mouse. Because it was owned by Thames, wasn't it, I think, originally?
Yes.
Which was bizarre because it ended up being in Manchester. But I think it had been based in various places. I think it was more, I'm just looking now. Yeah. It was founded by Brian Cosgrove, so it was named after
And
someone.
did he live in Cosgrove Hall?
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Oh.
Can I just? I'm just.
And Mark Hall.
Right. Okay. So
it was two names. You were
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You
Fair enough.
win.
No. Fair enough. 2 people. No. That's answered the question I needed.
For me though, well, the person you're nominating a dragon for the Executive Youth Club Member of the Week.
Yes, he's of the right age. He was born in 1976.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to be clear that I was. Yeah.
Yeah. Chorlton the Happiness Dragon.
Okay.
With the animation that you voiced up, was that Ernie the Underground Train?
Yeah, I did Ernie's Underground, which I did a few characters on there. And the other one I did was The one, and I enjoyed doing it because that was with Gary Lineker playing the station master. That was great fun, and we recorded it like a radio drama, so all the actors were there in the
Oh
studio together.
wow.
And one of them was Janet Brown. Do you remember her? Used to do a very good Mrs.
Yes.
Thatcher. She was lovely. I really liked her. Animation's still great because they can sell it all around the world. It's just that there isn't enough live action. I think it's a shame the BBC can't be given more money to invest in British live action television programs. I think they did brilliantly well with the money they've got. And Milkshake, Channel 5 do quite a lot of stuff as well. But it's I think we were very lucky when we were young because there was so much human contact, wasn't there?
I always remembered like children's TV with the live action stuff, things like Seaview and Jossie's Giants.
Yes.
Jossie's Giants.
Jossie's Giants.
Yeah.
Seaview was a brilliant drama, wasn't it? That was
Yeah, I
a
really
great
enjoyed that.
drama. Was that with the girl who went into
Marmalade Atkins, wasn't it? Or was that it was the
that was
actress from
another
that?
show.
No,
That was
yeah.
it was
Charlotte.
Yvette Fielding. I
Yvette
think.
Fielding. She was
Oh yeah.
she was on Blue Peter. She was a friend of my friend from university.
Mm.
Chris, did you have somebody that you wanted to nominate for an Executive Youth Club membership? Somebody
For you to talk to
inspiring?
next.
No, well, I mean, we'd love to talk
Well,
to.
is this got to be somebody I admire or?
Yes, can be, or
Basically someone we give free membership to that we doff our cap in recognition of their awesomeness as being an executive youth, like Chorlton the Happiness Dragon, for example, or Johnny Ball, or Diane Morgan, or Serena Williams, or David Byrne. Their
Neil,
previous
previous
winners.
nominations. Yeah.
I too I give it to the person who I've done the most pantos with, and who was has been very generous to me over the years. She did a radio show for CBeebies as well, and she's just such good fun. And I'm seeing her tomorrow. It's Sue Pollard.
Oh,
Because she is she's one of the few people who is so funny on television and when you see her in cabaret or whatever, but she is exactly the same in real life. If anything, she dresses down to go on stage in a panto. She is a genius, actually. She's very, very funny. When I first worked with her, I thought, oh my, because I knew nothing about her other than what I'd seen on the television. I thought she's either going to be a nightmare or she's going to be brilliant. And she was brilliant, so I wasn't worried. The first day, I just thought, I like you, because she was going, now, Chris, it says here in this script that we're doing this. Now, I've had another idea. Blah, 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 blah. And she was like constantly thinking, coming up with ideas. And I love that.
I have no hesitation in accepting her into the Executive Youth Club.
I'd like to know what her nomination might be. Be good to speak to her, wouldn't
It would be lovely to speak to her. Well, I think that's a fantastic nomination and a great person to end our podcast on today. Chris, obviously for you, I very much see your executive youth transition from Principal Boy to Dolly Donuts the day.
Dolly Donuts.
I loved Dolly Donuts. Will we be seeing her again this year?
She's Dame Trot this year because it's Jack and the Beanstalk. So we've changed I change the name every year, so it's always a Dame something or other.
Well, we look forward to seeing you in Jack and the Beanstalk at the end of the year. And Chris, we will be sending you, I don't know if you can see this, your Executive Youth Club member.
Thank you.
Badge.
I shall wear it at a lighthouse pool and put it in the dressing room.
If you could, that would be most welcome. Chris Jarvis, thank you so much for joining us here on the Executive Youth Club.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Executive Youth Club with me, Sam Fraser.
Me, Tom Hepworth. Don't forget, we always want to hear your thoughts and suggestions. You can email us at
theexecutiveyouthclub@gmail.com,
or indeed find us on that there Instagram.
Executive Youth Club, or find us on the website executiveyouthclub.com.
Au revoir.